But then it's these guys. It's in the bottom left-hand side of the shortest map in the map pool. It is Bly on fire.
And his opponents up in the top right-hand side of the map, the red Zerg player from team B100. It is Vanya. It's a cool clan name. I like that, actually. You should always strive to be 100% of yourself.
Yeah, is that? I don't know if that's their.
I don't know. But that, I mean, that's the way you could. That's the way we can decide to interpret it, right? And art is all subjective about, you know, the eye of the viewer,
That's true.
right? So
yeah, you're right. Yeah, you're very right about that. So I like the choices here. I suppose that's a pull first for either player. So both of them anticipating that their opponent would likely go for something like a 12 pull, for example, and they are kind of hard countering that option. Both players would have been extra happy if either one of them decided to go for a hatch first. But I mean, if you're Vanya, going hatch first against Bly on the shortest rush distance map in the map pool is a pretty tough choice. And if you're Bly, I mean, going for an early pull, it's kind of sketch as well because you're Bly and it's what's going to be expected in the shortest rush distance map in the map pool. So, you know, if you're Bly, you have to do what's unexpected, which is not what's usually expected of you, I guess. So, yeah.
I couldn't have said it better myself. No, I think that's absolutely like true, and that's a lot of the way that Bly has been able to be one of those players that is got a very odd and kind of aggressive play style that's sort of out there, but is still somewhat consistent, right? I'm not going to pretend like Bly is the most consistent player in the world, but he has very consistently been one of those notable players in the European scene that you do have to look out for, and that does get results. And he's able to do that by really being able to capitalize on exactly what you're talking about, like knowing how to walk that fine line.
Yes, indeed. A very good move here from Bly, who takes 2 links out, knowing that there's only 4 links coming and that the queen and his own 2 links will be enough to deflect that easily. On the other side, he's going to get a little bit of a scout just to confirm what's going on and looking for potentially turning around to try to pick off a drone, but sees that the queen has turned around it herself and will instead back away. Good micro here from Vanya. Will net him no losses. So, good stuff.
Yeah, queen pops out and has lost track of those Zerglings for a little bit, but oh my god, actually getting a drone is really, really nice value here. You normally are not seeing those 2 Zerglings scouting and getting a drone.
Yeah, that queen just really, like you said, losing track of those links, even though they were revealed by the extractor. Of course, it was probably just the fact that Vanya didn't have him or didn't have the links in his camera view, but they were definitely there on the minimap, so a little bit of a mistake from him.
Yeah, but we got a pretty quick layer starting up there from Bly, as well as adding on, you know, the Evo Chamber and the Roach Warren wall-off. Now, Bly is a tricky fellow. Cats, do you feel like this is going to be like is this a real Roach Warren? Is this a Roach Warren to get up actual roaches and the layer is going to help him get up speed?
Yeah, this is looking like potentially a 2-1 timing from Bly. On the other side, however, Vanya is faking something like a 2-1 timing, but Bly will scout the gases in the natural of Vanya, and he will see that they are empty. So this is a little bit sketch. Bly has to be thinking. Vanya is trying to get away with a little bit of a bigger economy, potentially something like a link flood to follow, and to try and cancel the third of Bly. Bly now adding his second Evo Chamber, further confirming that it is very likely that he's going to be going for a 2-1 timing. A +1 timing, of course, is always something that you could potentially go for, but then you're working with very few units, so it's a little bit sketch. And I expect we're going to see the Carapace added here shortly thereafter.
Yeah, that's going to be an important part for a 2-1 timing there, like you were saying. Well, Overseer comes on forward and is just going to get a confirmation on like the follow-ups over here. Ever since he moved in, like you were saying, and saw that there were no gas guys in the natural, he's going to see that they're there, sees that layer timing, and yeah, should have a really perfect idea. There's that +1 armor that you were talking about, and oh my god, is this Overseer? No, it's not going to get away. Got lazy.
Yeah, so Vanya has to be careful not to oversaturate his third. If he makes like 5 to 7 workers or something at it, he will be in a decent position to just start making roaches himself and catch back up on that regard. The Carapace would help him in Ling Wars, but that's not gonna be happening. Still, it's gonna be useful for his links not to get one-shotted against the roaches for the time being, and to contain Bly on 2 bases. That's the most important part. So Vanya will have a slight economic lead. He just cannot overextend. And as I say that he's building 4 additional workers, all up to 8 on the natural base, I think that's still manageable, but hopefully no more than that.
Yeah, because I mean, once those upgrades finish up over here for Bly, and I think I was also expecting that he was going to start a +2 missile attacks pretty soon, but he's still holding off from starting that up, because he's going to grab that low ground third and just push across the map. Yeah, I guess he's not worrying about the +2 weapon upgrades.
I think this is just a poke because it's such a small map. So yeah, there's going to be a 2-1 timing coming up. So he just moves to half across the map to force out some additional units from Vanya, but that's exactly what Vanya wanted to build anyway. However, Vanya does build additional links, which maybe isn't ideal for him, and that is a decision that he's forced to do because he has no gas and he expects that Bly is potentially moving out. So now that Vanya is going to have his own upgrade kicking in, he will do the same thing to Bly. We'll see if he actually commits. Very unlikely. But again, how small the map is makes it easy for these pseudo move outs.
Oh, yes. And of course, Beckett Industry got that fast zone area that you got to be very wary of sometimes. But all the roaches are going to be coming in alongside those lings on the bottom side more so than anything else. And now they're trying to find an opportunity to get us around over here on Bly. Bly is being forced up the ramp.
Yeah, I don't think he needed to give up that space. I think respecting the links a little bit too much because there is the potential for a surround. And if there was more Ravagers than this on the side of Vanya and the links get behind those roaches as they're trying to go up the ramp, then you can bile them down and that can be game ending. But this time around, I mean, I think Bly had plenty to just sit there and defend his third. Instead, it's going to get cancelled, and that's a huge edge for Vanya.
Yeah, Bly now saying, okay, I know that you have a third base behind all this. I know that you have a much better economy now. Not only, the bases, but even the worker counts. He's going to be adding on that Nidus Worm. And that Nidus Worm should be finishing up around the time that his +2 weapons finishes up. So this is going to be the big timing that Bly is kind of pinning a lot of the comeback potential for this game on.
Yeah, unfortunately for him, he's already revealed the Overseer in a position that makes the Nidus kind of obvious, right? Because he wasn't trying to scout with it. Also drops down the Changeling, which is also furthermore a little bit obvious. And now Bly, however, has found himself a spot with the Overseer regardless. So the Nidus will go down, but it essentially has to kill Vanya, who is now just producing roaches. And he is very close in army supply, lagging behind 1 upgrade as soon as the upgrade of Bly finishes. So this won't be easy. And actually, yeah, this is looking okay for Bly if he can unload all of it.
Yeah, I mean, all of Vanya's units are over the third. No, actually, they're moving across the map right now. He's going to be completely out of position for this. As the roaches come swarming on into that main base, another Nidus Worm is also going to be starting up as a backup, but already killing off a decent number of these workers, while Bly is going to be losing his third because the rest of the army for Vanya isn't defending. It's moving across the map.
Yeah, and this is the right call from Vanya to completely ignore the third and just move into the natural, get as much damage done here as he can. Bly actually unloading units from the Nidus. I'm not sure that I like that because he's gonna get overwhelmed. There's no chance that he trades efficiently with units popping out of this Nidus, but Vanya actually with a move command there for a second, still trading very effectively against Bly. Again, I do not like that move on the side of Bly one bit, and now getting rid of that Nidus will secure Vanya the 2 low ground expansions of Bly and perhaps even just the game. We'll see on the other side. It looks like Vanya is taking care of business because Bly really just diluted his army, right? Like he left a little bit that's eventually going to be dealt with by reinforcements, and basically threw a wave of reinforcements where he was fighting with less than half of the army of Vanya. So and that doesn't mean that because you have half of your armies of the army of your opponent that you're going to kill half of their army. No, it's more like it's a horrible trade, just a terrible trade. So I'm not sure why Bly decided to pull back like he did, but works out for Vanya, and that's a 1-0 score. At the same time, he was playing from behind a little bit before the Nidus, so,
Yeah, I wonder if maybe what Bly was thinking was along the lines of, I'm leaving just behind enough army to kill basically all of your remaining workers. Like, I think at that point, there were maybe 6 or 7 workers that were even still mining there for Vanya. So I was thinking I'll leave just behind enough, and then I'll come back home. And with these units plus the reinforcements, I think I'll be able to defend it, but clearly just didn't end up working out. I think you're absolutely right. Splitting up his army really costing Bly maybe a possible opportunity there, but honestly, a very close game and with close trades before that point.
Yeah, I mean, Vanya was in a brilliant position just going into the game. He had a third fully saturated, whereas Bly just didn't. But Bly's army was actually bigger, and it slightly bigger, and it had an upgrade lead when the Nidus went up. So Vanya could not fight the army of Bly up his own ramp. So his decision to move across the map was brilliant, because he would have had time as Bly kills his main and then his natural to kind of gather more resources than Bly and potentially get some reinforcements going and see if he can hold, but it would have been a question mark. What he does is brilliant in the sense that he doesn't stop for the third, he goes right away for the throat. He gets the Roach Warrior on the way there, and the only reason where it's a little bit difficult to blame Bly for his decision making there is because he had like 5 or 6 Ravagers morphing. Those are expensive, you know? So he probably thinks, I want to protect this, and the way to protect those is to really reinforce. But yeah, I mean, the reinforcements were popping single file out of a Nidus that was already surrounded, so it was just not gonna work.
Yeah, that is tough. I guess, actually, yeah, the Nidus Worms are both in the main base, and I know that he had moved most of his units down to like the natural or the third and stuff, so maybe it also just, he made the decision to pull back, and he's like, oh yes, I'll pull back my units and defend those Ravagers, but it just takes an extra like 8-9 seconds to actually get those there. So maybe he thought he would be able to unload his units in time, but doesn't end up working out. Regardless though, that is gonna move us into game number 2 with Vanya leading up 1-0.
Yeah.
All right, well, we're moving on to a more generally well-liked map, I would say, of the newer maps, or at least more picked. We have 2,000 atmospheres starting up here in the top right-hand side of the map. Blue Zerg player. He is Bly on fire.
And in the bottom left-hand side of the most boring map in the map pool, it is Vanya. In my opinion, at least. But yeah, I usually like the ones that no one likes, because it's like the ones that everyone likes are the ones that are the most standard, right? Like the ones that are the most...
Though. That's the thing.
Yeah, I don't know about that. I think it's, I don't know. I think it's just that players like playing the same game over and over, and like kind of like their practice to really pay off in a linear way a lot of the time. And this map is just basically Cloud Kingdom, and we've had so many Cloud Kingdoms, right, over time. Yeah. This is like the 5th edition of Cloud Kingdom. It might as well be called 2000 Cloud Kingdom, 2021 Cloud Kingdom reskin.
2021 Cloud Kingdom. Actually, you know what? Cloud Kingdom may legitimately be closing in on a decade old.
Yeah.
That is crazy to think about. Cloud Kingdom as a map is older than some StarCraft players that are in Masters League now.
Cloud Kingdom as a map is...
Yeah. If it's... There are 9 or 10-year-old Masters League players.
Yeah, that's true. That's amazing.
Well, now I feel really old, but you know, it's times have been flying by in StarCraft. It's pretty crazy how long we've been around, how long some of these players have been around as well. I think Bly definitely one of the older players as well. I don't think he's the oldest player this season, but he is. I think 32 or something around that age, 31 or 32 or something.
Yeah.
And he's, still chugging along and still been like I said, like a fairly consistent player that is notable in Europe.
It is so impressive. There's something in the water in the Russian region, because like you have Braddock, you have Bly, you have Cass, all still going strong, qualifying for this event. All just about like my age. They're like, they were my contemporaries, and yeah, I'm done for a while, but these guys are like getting better. It's crazy.
Braddock is actually the most insane one, because Braddock, I think, is 34. I think I looked this up earlier, and I was like, oh my god, he's 34. Man is still going strong. And like you said, like I think even Roddy was saying, seems to be getting better. It's actually just crazy, age is just a number.
Yeah, I mean, Cass and Braddock both actually went to Korea, I think last year or the year before that. So yeah, it's crazy. Like they're motivated, they're getting better, and they're making it happen. One of those guys, of course, is Bly, who is not just doing it, but he is doing it his way for something like 10 years. So that is absolutely brilliant and inspiring. So good job to them.
Well, we do have another fast layer coming out over here from Bly.
Wow.
He's gonna be sticking with that. Ooh. Nice snipe off over there. That Ling getting an extra drone kill yet again. Second time.
Yeah. Another one.
Another one. Well, I know Bly is hoping for another one, but that would require him to win this game and take it to a game 3. Got to be taking all of his gas geysers this game and adding on the Spire. Throws down the Roach Horn at the front. Makes this look very, very similar if you don't see the gas geysers to the last game. But I think we know better than that, Paulo.
Yeah, definitely. And I think that's an important piece of his gameplay here is the fact that he is looking for that unexpected factor and he is telling the story of I am doing the same thing. Now, if you know Bly well enough that you're Bly, so this is definitely a trick, you could probably read into straight up Muta because there's nothing else that it could be. Like if you had to bet on if you had to bet on before the series, right, Ravi? Will Bly do the exact same build twice in a row? What would the odds be? Like,
I don't, I would normally say really low, but Bly is the kind of player who will think so far ahead that he would say, well, it wouldn't be expected, so that's why I'll do it, right? Bly is on that level, right? Bly is the guy who he tries to be unpredictable.
Yeah, he's really selling it here with the triple upgrades. He's likely to cancel the Roach Warren upgrade and the Evo Chamber on the range upgrade. I don't think he'll finish those, though I won't be mad if he does. But I think primarily he will be keeping the melee. Oh, actually cancels the melee. Okay, keeps the roaches. I mean, does he even have speed? So maybe this was more predictable than I'm reading into it. He does have speed, right?
For roaches?
For Lings, I mean.
Oh, for Lings? No, he didn't get speed for Lings.
Oh, okay.
He skipped that. Yeah. That's how he got up the fast layer. Oh my god, the Lings over here for Vanya just gonna go ham though. He has so many, and there's only 3 roaches out. Now, of course, the mutas are out and they could help supplement, but this is turning into be a really, really scary push because the Evo Chamber on the south side is already getting very low, and that's gonna be the gates opening soon. He backs off.
Yeah, I think he's running away from the changelings. Now the Muta have also been revealed. Vanya is reconsolidating his army. I mean, he ran away definitely a little bit further away than he needed to. I think he should have finished off this Evo Chamber, which will finish. Oh, did it finish?
It finished.
I think it did.
It did. It completed. So he has +1 weapons, which is actually going to be so big and helpful in cleaning up these Zerglings on the ground because now the Roaches 2-shot the Lings.
Yeah, and that's a really strong position for Bly to be in now. That upgrade finishing, I mean, it never should have. There was no reason for the Lings to run as far back as they did, and now those roaches doing a lot more work than they have any right to do. That was milliseconds there, Ravi.
That is pretty nuts, but hot damn, well, Bly is going to be pretty comfortable with how things shook out there, where it was going to be a really, really scary potential, but now the mutas get full dominance over the center of the map. They're going to be able to keep these queens on guard and try and psych off a couple of these drones here and there. Has to be very careful because these mutas are very important to keep alive, especially since, well, actually he's making 9 more. So yeah, he's definitely going to be putting some value into these.
Yes, indeed. Vanya trying to answer as well. There is going to be a cancel onto the base of Bly here, so that's a nice move for Vanya. Let's look at the muta numbers. That is really what's going to be most important. Out on the field, there's 9 on the side of Vanya to just 8 of Bly. In terms of upgrades for those muta, I believe neither player has an upgrade yet, right? So both players are going for different upgrades, with Vanya going for the Carapace, which is usually looked at as better than the attack, especially in muta versus muta fights. Whereas the attack is obviously going to be a little bit better if there's nothing to shoot at the muta, right? So if the mutas are just shooting roaches or shooting circlings, then the attack makes a lot more sense. So you can see why Bly chose it.
Yeah, it's also important to know that, well, Bly is also dealing with these Ling run-bys. Oh my god, going to be getting so many work. That actually just might be a little too much. Like, it's really important to have an economy behind this muta production.
Yeah.
Oh no.
Yeah, the gases at the main are also not mining at the moment. Bly resaturates the gases at his natural right away, and this is a much needed run by on the side of Bly. So trying to do the same thing to Vanya, and this is an extremely close game at the moment. Both players very low on workers. However, the roaches on the side of Bly really are gonna struggle to contribute. So that's the one difference maker here. Even though Bly has a slight army supply lead, it's a lot or not a lot, but 6 of that supply is tied to those roaches, which don't really do anything for him.
Yeah, the other big problem is now that you were talking about those upgrades, and Bly had started his weapon upgrade, I think,
hello?
before he... Hello? Can you hear me?
Yeah, no, yeah, I was looking at the links. I mean, they're unanswered, and look at this Muta as well.
Oh my god. Yeah. Oh my god, the Lings are just killing everything. Now, the Mutas over here for Bly are also finding a bunch of the Mutas rallying out over there for Vanya. Really, really awkward trades there, as Vanya still hasn't cleaned up these Lings.
Oh my god, I'm gonna click on some of these links to see. Oh, I couldn't click on them. I couldn't click on them. I wanted to see how many kills they had because
there was
a
report. I feel like the battle report.
Battle report.
Oh my god.
Hey, Lamau. That's the battle report.
29 workers? Yeah. Cool.
I want to see. Some of those links must have had like 10 kills or something worth of workers. Like they were really killing stuff, and it wasn't very many links. Just Vanya not paying attention for a little bit too long. This game has somewhat stabilized. Weirdly, it is a very strange action-packed Zerg versus Zerg.
So there is one really important thing to note again, though, which is the Carapace versus the weapon upgrade. Like I think that there's value in having the weapon upgrade.
Oh, that's it.
Well, yeah, it's gonna be a fight with Bly leading up in number of Mutas.
Yeah.
So you should be able to win this. Yeah. Oh man.
Yeah. Vanya choosing to take that fight. Yeah, very scary. I mean, the only chance for Vanya was that Bly decided not to take that engagement, backed away, and lost a Muta or two on the way out. So, you know, like a little bit rough. I think Vanya decided that he took too much damage, maybe forgetting how much damage he had done in turn just earlier in that same game, because it was kind of an even game at that point still. And like you were mentioning, he did have the Carapace upgrade over the attack upgrade. So while he had less Muta, if he had one or two less Muta, if he could catch up a little bit more before fighting, then he might have been able to make something happen still.
Which are literally the Mutas that one Bly went for that big attack, and we saw like the Lings killing 20x workers, right? Bly was catching some of those Mutas that were being rallied in. Like those were the Mutas that could have actually allowed Vanya to win that last fight that happened right before he ended up having to tap out, because in a straight up just pure Muta versus pure Muta fight, Carapace upgrade is like numerically, statistically, in every way better for Muta versus Muta. Just because the armor upgrade is applying for every one of the Glaive Worm bounces. The Muta attacks actually hit 3 units. The weapon upgrade is only actually applying for one of the attacks. So it's a little bit rough there.
Yes, indeed. We're going to go to a quick break. And when we come back, the resolution of this series. And we are back once again with DreamHack Masters Summer European Edition today in this beautiful, is it Saturday? Saturday.
Yes.
And we have Vanya versus Bly in a deciding match. And what a map to have a match on of CVC. It's going to be Blackburn.
Yes, it is. Should be fun to see how this series actually shakes out, because I think that this is a pretty important match for Bly, especially, who I think is in a little bit rougher of a spot right now. Just in terms of his actual series score, he's down 0-2 in the group right now. Being down 0-3, it's like you can still advance out, but then you basically don't have any leeway anymore in your remaining matches. So we'll see how things shake out as we start down here on the bottom right-hand side of the map, top of the red Zerg player. He is B100's Vanya.
And in the bottom left-hand side, it is this player going for a pretty quick pull, actually. Bly on fire. He's been on fire for a while.
He has. No one has been able to douse him.
What's the word? Douse?
Douse? Yeah, like
douse? That's to put
like throw water over someone.
That's pretty cool. I didn't know that word. Douse?
Yeah.
That's cool. Thank you.
Of course. I'm glad that we could learn a little something today.
Hells yeah.
Yeah.
So we have Bly with the 12 pool here. Not the most usual map for a 12 pool. I expect that if he has done his research, and I am sure that he has, he will be avoiding those slow zones, as it will buy him an extra second there to go through the middle of the map. It's just 1 or 1.5 seconds. Oh, okay, never mind the middle of the map. Bly is not interested in middle of the maps.
No, he is not. He's going to be circumventing the overlords, pulling the drones. He's got some of those resources banked up. Palo, this is that good old drone pull, spine crawler all in. And I haven't seen for actually a little bit now.
Yeah, and I'm looking at the production here. I mean, now Vanya is going to catch wind of what's going on. Lucky for him, he didn't make one of those into drones. A very cool set of spine crawlers here, hugging the wall as well, so that there isn't much surface area. So 3 spine crawlers very well planned on the side of Bly. And this is looking pretty good already, though I'm not sure that Bly needs to be fighting this drone, so it's going great as Vanya is going to give him a lot of surface area, not really microing that as well as he could. This is looking all Bly for the time being as Vanya tries to evacuate, but don't forget, there's still 3 spine crawlers that are not even gonna be needed for this to work.
The last drone's dead. That's it.
Yeah. Did not even need the spines.